Mr. Gareth! Mr. Gareth! What are we doing here?
Okay, sorry for the delays everyone. I want to thank you everyone for coming to our panel this year. We have, from the outside looking in, I'm going to just quick show of hands, anyone catch our panel on this last year? So 3, that's 4, that's more than, yes. 4 more than I was expecting. And my man, get up here. Last year we did a panel where we were talking about, obviously based on where we are, Shibasuka, we did a panel about animes, our first anime we ever saw.
Big mistake.
Big mistake, because we knew nothing about anime. So for this year we thought we'd do something we're a little bit more knowledgeable about.
Not much,
but we thought we'd do it about gaming this year. So again, just break it down to the first game we ever played, our favourite game, and our least favourite game. Yeah. So we're going to start with our first video game, and not Pokemon doesn't count, which is a joke from last year.
My slides aren't going to be very good then.
So, my first video game was Super Mario Bros. 3. As you can see from me, just look at that. It's everything you need in a video game, right there in that image.
A perfect game does not exist.
You say that, it's easily one of the best video games ever made. I know in this day and age with how many kind of different gaming websites and YouTubers and that type of thing, it's very easy to get, top 10 video games ever made list. And Mario Bros. 3 is a game that...
Super Castlevania!
Super Castlevania 4. So Mario Bros. 3 is a game that kind of always is normally on one of those lists, and it's almost like a cliche to include it. I think sometimes cliches exist for a reason. It's just so many things about this game, it's just good. All over the world, nowadays, Mario kind of has this stigma against him about kind of being at least
the same game.
At least in his 2D games. Like if you play one new Super Mario game, you pretty much played them all. There's some slight differences. They're practically the same. My man knows. They're practically the same thing.
I actually know.
Yeah, the power-ups. Again, name me another game where it gives you the chance to play a fat plumber in a frog suit. Can anyone?
Yeah. License.
Yes.
Well, a lot of Flash games.
I love, again, to go back to kind of Mario kind of not 100% being in this day and age that original, the concept that the premise of Mario Bros. 3, that it's a stage play of them essentially reenacting the plot of Mario Bros. 1 on the stage. I think it's like one of the most original ideas I've ever, even to this day, I've ever heard of for a video game. In fact, like, if you look at all of the backgrounds, they always have like little things like held up with string, like things have been screwed into the background. It's just things like that. I think it's just, it's almost insane to imagine that Miyamoto allowed that to happen, because he's so like, no, just Mario goes, saves the princess, nothing else, you know. He went to space once, but never again.
Shoot the scenery.
Some things I don't like about it, because you know, no game inherently is a perfect thing.
What?
What?
I didn't know there was bad points about this.
But Mario, one of the things to tie into this about the levels, that Mario Bros. 3 is a game where each one has like, lots of levels, and one kind of cool thing about it is you don't have to play every level in the game to complete it or to progress. You can, the pathways, you can skip some of them. The problem with that is that a lot of the games, so a lot of the levels I feel just incredibly repetitive. They have the same kind of thing over and over again. I kind of feel that fewer, longer levels would work better in that regard. The goddamn sun. I can't stand that freaking, like, I don't know why the sun's trying to kill us. Also the fact that you can murder the sun, but then the Mushroom Kingdom doesn't just freeze to death in a fraction of a second. It just keeps going. See, the Mushroom Kingdom's resilient.
That's a good point.
You know, the Mario, I would say that for my money, the Mario Brothers games don't have the best boss battles in general. I think it's more like the levels themselves that the strength of them. The boss battles are just kind of there. The Bowser fight in Mario Bros. 3 is easily one of the most anticlimactic like boss fights to a game, because you literally just stand there and watch Bowser jump his way through, break to his own death. Kind of, you don't get to jump on his head or throw him into a lava pit. You just watch him pretty much kill himself.
Yeah.
And it's not that much fun.
No.
Okay, my first game was Super Mario Bros. 3. Some nice editing there.
You know what's wrong? Your laptop doesn't have the font I use, so it's completely messed up. It's completely messed up.
Yes! It's Mario in a Tanuki suit. What I like about it, it's stylized. Kind of like what you said, where it's like a play and stuff, and really like that. And I mean, Mario Brothers 3 is like one of the best, like the advertisements, like that one that you had for, you know, the better one, the artwork that you had. That's like really good artwork, and the sprites from Mario 3 are my favorite of like all of the 8-bit Mario games. So yeah, it's stylized. Interesting level themes, because you know you have themes like Pipe World and like Bowser's whole, instead of like being like a volcano or just like lava land.
It's hell.
Yeah, Bowser's world is hell.
The Japanese World 8 in Japan is literally just called hell.
Yeah. Then where is he going when he like falls down that pit?
Double hell.
Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing. So Cain was the devil.
But the AVGN said.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Introduction of the Koopa Kids. I love the Koopa Kids.
I don't care what Miyamoto says. They're Bowser's children, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
He's tried to retcon that in the past, and not only Bowser Jr. is his son. No! Stop. Bowser is the most responsible parent in video game history. Don't take that away from him.
That's absolutely true.
He's a single dad who raises 8 kids and gives them all castles and flying clown cars. I
Yeah.
wish Bowser was my dad.
How old are the Koopa Kids?
I don't know.
They shouldn't be driving.
Well, Mario's only 25.
What?
Yeah. You know what I hear about this?
I'm
Like,
as old as Mario?
I'm older than Mario, that's sad.
Yeah.
No, so Miyamoto just released an interview, which it's been around for a while, but I think it kind of resurfaced again. Where he said that Mario is only about 25 years old, and Luigi is only about 19. It's a pretty good mustache for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, seriously.
Is it the same one where he said that he is Bowser Jr.'s mom?
Yes.
So wait, the movie was accurate?
Yes. That movie's amazing, by the way.
Mario, Luigi Mario.
How many Marios are there? What I don't like about it, wait, I forgot, I put negative points about this game. Huge ramp up for difficulty. Sky World.
Say that guy just like you.
No, you put Hugh ramp up. Does that have to do with the font?
Yes.
Is there no E's in that font? Skylanders. I kind of rolled those both into one.
Why do you hate Skylanders for?
Skylanders is an awful use of the Spyro the Dragon franchise.
It's got Crash Bandicoot now.
Make Crash Bandicoot great again. And it does show the Koopa Kids.
What's wrong with the Koopa Kids?
There's just too much Koopa Kids now. That's all anybody talks about is the damn Koopa Kids.
They went away for like 15 years.
Also, Roy is not my boy.
And it's over now. Well, like the Koopa Kids were kind of like Metal Sonic in the Sonic franchise, kind of used a lot in the beginning. Then there was a good like 10-year gap, which just it wasn't touched at all. Now we just you can't get away from a game featuring even the Koopa Kids on Metal Sonic.
What's wrong with Metal Sonic?
No, it's good. It's just making a point about a different franchise.
You better not be saying something bad about Metal Sonic.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smoothies.
Now it's time for our favorite video game.
You go first. No, Pokemon Snap doesn't count.
Okay, let me just re-edit this. My favorite video game is Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah!
Yes!
My man.
About people. And there's a picture of both.
Banjo and this Kazooie.
Except that's from the first game. Kazooie doesn't leave the backpack in the first game, so that's inaccurate. What I like about it, transformed a supporting character into a gaming icon. Because you know, Banjo was originally in Diddy Kong Racing.
Wasn't he just put in there though as they were working on Banjo-Kazooie? Hadn't production of Banjo-Kazooie started first?
Don't ruin my bullet. It's my bullet.
Would you class Banjo, who would class Banjo, a character who's only had 4 actual games? Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Nuts and Bolts, and Gruntilda's Revenge for the GBA game.
What about Banjo Pilot?
Never released.
Yeah.
What's wrong?
ROM, that doesn't count as an official.
It counts.
Who here would class Banjo as a gaming icon?
That's enough.
It's about half the room. Okay, I'll give it up. Half the room.
Maybe
Okay.
if he had a good game in the past 10 years.
Hey,
My man knows.
It was a revolutionary platformer.
Oh, yes.
what about Rare Replay? He was on that. In the last 10 years.
3 of his games are on that.
Yeah. Simple design was incredibly fun. It's just dumb, and I love it. I spent way too much time on this game. I didn't beat it for 15 years.
How many was it? Was it Kazooie or Tooie that you put?
It was Tooie that I put over 200 hours in.
And still didn't finish.
And still didn't finish as a kid. And then Kazooie, I didn't beat until I was college. So, yeah. I suck at games. It's well written. It's funny. Banjo-Kazooie's hilarious.
Banjo, I do say Banjo.
I'll fight anybody who says otherwise.
Banjo and Kazooie, I do like. They are well-defined characters. I love Kazooie. She's just a sarcastic jerk, and I love her so much.
It's not against the law to fight a bird unless you let everybody else does it. Dynamic level design. I like the levels. They're all different and they're fun and they have good themes. Like haunted house levels and Egypt levels. What I don't like about it, nothing. Panel is over. It's a collectathon. That can get kind of boring.
But isn't that almost like some people might take umbrage with that. JonTron himself will take issue with that because if the game is designed to be that way, then it's like complaining that Mario Kart is a racing game. It's designed to be that way.
Just because I kind of look like JonTron doesn't mean that.
Wait, no,
Everybody needs. Doesn't mean I agree with him on everything. Rusty Bucket Bay.
what about this level, TJ, don't you like?
Well, okay, so one of the main mechanics in Banjo-Kazooie is that you have to collect all of the notes in one go, because it's designed as like a high score system instead of as soon as you collect the note, you've collected it. So once you enter the level, all of the notes are there, and you have to get all 100 of them in a single life, or else they come back. And Rusty Bucket Bay has one of the easiest places to die in the game. That's bullshit. So it's kind of hard to get them all in one go. The main mechanic of the game stops around 65% through. So one of the interesting mechanics of the game is that you learn you learn moves as you go throughout the levels, and it helps you solve the puzzles and stuff. And you learn your last move in Gobi's Desert, and then there's nothing else for the rest of the game. So you're just going through levels and using everything that you've learned to that point. Well, not even most of the moves you learn, just a very select few of them, and then.
So with that, would you say, would you rather you learn more moves, or just as soon as you learn them all, the game's over?
Look, I think 2E is a better model, because you learn moves up to the last level, and they're all pretty cool. So even though 2E is a bastard of a game, as you and I both know, yeah,
Move on.
Yeah.
So this I kind of.
We haven't talked to him at all this whole time.
Look at you, buddy, don't you worry, look at
It's
you.
alright, this is your panel, man.
It's our panel.
So you're equally a part of this, my friend, as we are, but not ready to quash. So I was trying to think of what my favourite game is, and it took me a few hours, but then those who know me would know I was stupid to even not consider this. It's Sonic Adventure.
Yeah, you were texting me and I was like, you're not just gonna put Sonic Adventure?
Because of what my least favourite game is on this panel,
Spoilers.
I didn't want to. Oh no.
Oh no.
I didn't want to front end this thing with too many games from the same franchise, and so I was toying with Kirby Superstar. I almost came close to selecting that as my favourite game, but it all comes back to this stupid hedgehog. So what I like about Sonic Adventure, I think it's fortuitous that the first real 3D Sonic game kind of showed you how well the concept of a fast hedgehog who jumps and spins can work in a 3D environment. Yes, you can argue it, and I will bring that myself when we get to what I don't like about it, that certain things in the game and around the game have not aged well, or some people would argue were never that good to begin with. But I think in terms of how he controls himself, it feels like classic Sonic. It feels like the 2D games in 3D. He still has his momentum, he still has his general mechanics work well. The home attack was a good addition to help him move the way he did in a 3D environment. All that stuff I think just worked really well. Unlike future games, each character feels unique.
So do the characters feel unique, especially when Tails only plays Sonic levels.
How characters play and the levels they play in are two entirely different things, you simpleton.
So
as I was saying, so Sonic Adventure has 6 characters, and unlike and they each the one I might grant you is Tails kind of is just Sonic, but he can fly. But I would argue the flight mechanic makes it unique enough. Whereas if you play a game like Sonic Heroes, essentially all the speed characters play exactly the same, all the flight characters play exactly the same, pretty much just playing this one playstyle with just 4 different character palettes to play as. In rebringing this, I should have had these two mixed, switched over. I still think in terms of how Sonic controls in 3D, SA1 still has it. If you've ever played Unleashed, which is a game that he hasn't played, so you know what you're talking about, shut your face.
I can't stand idly by and listen to you lie to these people.
Sonic, if you ever play a lot of modern Sonic games, the control, something like Generations, the control is it's pretty good, but there's still a slight stiffness to him. Like in SA1, Sonic can go in 3 360 degrees with a drop of a hat. Like he can turn on a dime so easily. Something like Unleashed, it's almost like a very, very mild case of like Resident Evil tank controls. There's a slight delay in its turning, which can sometimes mess you up if you're trying to do some kind of unique, precision platforming, which in that regard is not great. We gave birth to Crush 40.
Yeah, that's true.
And kind of like TJ was saying, anyone who doesn't like Banjo-Kazooie will fight. I know, if you're not a fan of Crush 40, then you and I got nothing to say to each other, right? Who doesn't love Open Your Heart? Everyone loves Open Your Heart.
Yeah, I think I can sing every one of those songs.
My man knows. Ben, that's it too.
Wow! Did you put that in at the last minute?
Anyone who hasn't seen the Great Sonic Adventure debate, I think we proved that one. What I don't like about SA1 is not aged gracefully. I won't lie. I do have nostalgia glasses with this game. It's a game I grew up with, but you'd be TJ level of competence to not see that it's buggy as hell. I'm sure anyone who's watched the Game Grumps run of SA1 can see just how easy it is to fall through the floor in Emerald Coast.
Okay, but that's like 75% Aaron's incompetence.
Oh yeah. He was doing glitches I've never seen before.
I will say how he ended up on the loop in Emerald Coast. I have never seen that happen before. I'm not sure what happened. And they are playing the direct stuff of the GameCube, which somehow was worse than the Dreamcast original.
That's the only version I've ever played.
Which version?
The X.
Exactly, that's why.
What? It's fine.
It's fine, but somehow it's buggier than the Dreamcast version.
I will admit that some of my favorite moments
of this game are probably when you and I are arguing about it, and I'm sitting there watching you play, and you're trying to argue how good it is, and then something dumb happens, and you just go, this game's perfect.
It's good. Good guess. I like it. Okay.
Like that time you kept dying on Skydeck.
Yeah, there's a moment in Sonic's version of Skydeck when you're on top of the egg carrier, and you have to kind of make it from one point to the other, and you have to destroy all these kind of missile silos. And sometimes out of nowhere, the wind will just knock you off. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, it's good, I like it.
There's that part where you like succeeded and then you just fell through the floor.
Yeah, sometimes even when you succeed, the game will still punish you. But it's okay, because when you play Skydeck, you get to listen to Skydeck Go-Go by Jim Tsunoy. So
yeah, but there's also like, there's a barrier to that, because every time you go to Skydeck, you have to sit through that stupid cutscene where the character goes, this must be the entrance to the Skydeck.
The reason why that is amazing though is because for some reason the animation of Sonic is facing the door, and for some reason the game always makes him turn around for no good reason. He'll turn around, but his head will keep looking at the door. So literally he's looking at the door and goes, so this must be the entrance to the Skydeck. Like was Yuji Naka drunk while programming these cutscenes? It doesn't make any sense. It's windy up there. Extreme bugging places.
Yeah. You know.
Was that a pity clap?
I didn't know what to do. You and me both, brother.
I say it's extremely buggy. It's crazy because the original version, the version we got, it's referred to as Sonic Adventure International because it came out in Japan a year before we got it, and the original Japanese version was even buggier.
Wow.
So, but what ties into my next point, they removed the sexy cowgirl from the international list. Anyone who's ever, the third level is a level called Kishinobu. It's a big Kishino level, as it is a Sonic staple. In the original Japanese version, for some reason, there was this neon cowgirl in one of the backgrounds. It has knuckles. You can fly up to her, and for some reason, if you glide onto her, she'll make an audible noise that sounds like an orgasm. No idea why they thought this was appropriate for a Sonic game, but I guess the Sega of America were like, we're not putting that in a kid's game, you stupid, so they removed it.
It was their attempt to shadow it up before that ever happened.
Yeah, it was just
make it more adult.
Make it more adult by putting orgasming cowgirls in the casino.
On signs.
On signs. Big the cat. He's dumb. He's dumb. Anyone here a fan of Big the Cat? One person.
Put your hand down.
Can you
That's a lie.
What's that?
Like as a joke, can you like him?
Yeah, I'm saying again, I like what he's become now. It's like just a completely spammable meme like Aaron Weber and Sega through account in context of the game. I mean, even Takeshi Ozuka, current Sonic Team head and director of SE1, has come out saying that Big the Cat was a mistake gameplay-wise because it's all the other characters that are kind of questioning me, but they're about speed. Get to the other level as soon as you can. Big's gameplay choice, it's very counterproductive to how the rest of the game is played. You're meant to just sit and fish, which if you know what you're doing, you can get through. My favorite fact about SA1 is whenever you go to your character select screen, depending on what you do, there is a percentage. If you say play a few levels, exit the game and come back, the character select will give you a percentage, like you are 40% of the way through Sonic's story, 60% of the way through Tails' story, what have you. Just by watching Big the Cat's opening cutscene, you complete 10% of his game, which is one of my favorite facts of all time.
The only thing that I like about Big is that meme that you and I made, where it's a picture of Big in the egg walker. Hey, stay on Mobius.
And also, of course, the fact that he's voiced by Johnson, Duke Nukem himself is the voice of Big the Cat, and we met him at whatever con the Crush was on last year. YumaCon in Detroit. And the best thing about it was he can't stand Big the Cat.
I'm here to find Froggy and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
We had him say that as Big the Cat. But he was.
I think my favorite part of that was how he was telling us that how he got the job, and he was like his friend.
I forget her name, but Rouge the Bat's original voice actress was the voice director and the casting director, and I guess they were just friends in real life, and she was just like, we have a character in this game coming up, we just need someone to fill it, do you want to do it? And he was like, yes, he had no idea what the character was, he had no description, he just agreed to do a job, so he turns up on the day, and he's given the character breakdown, and it's like, it's a big purple cat called Big. He was like, really? Like, oh, okay.
Well, then he was like, he said he's like, so he's a big dumb cat, and they were like, yeah, and he goes, do he sound like this? And they were like, that's perfect. And he goes, no, please, I don't want to do that. Something's happening.
Our least favorite video games. I think you're first, TJ, on this one. Yes, Pokemon Pinball does count.
Oh, hey!
TJ.
Why'd you put me first 2 times in a row? Okay, here we go. My least favorite video game is Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves.
We have beef now.
And I like how you put the Sly 4 model.
Hands up. I have never played a Sly Cooper game in my life. I just went to Google Sly Cooper. That was the first one without any white background I could find in Google. So apparently that's on the wrong game. Does anyone take care? No, good. Shut up, TJ.
Chris, I have beef with this.
Put your hand.
What I don't like about it, the villains are less developed or connected. So like in the second one, even in the first, okay, so in the first one you have, just drawing a blank here.
You're playing the game. Don't look at me,
Yeah,
TJ.
I'm not looking at you.
Who's playing Sly 1? Who can help him out with this?
Who's the team in who's the villain team in the first one?
Shit, that's cool. There's a sexy alligator.
There is a sexy alligator.
Is that the character's name? Sexy alligator.
Her name.
Yeah, it could be. Anyway, so
Like the back goes, well, I missed, I haven't played this game.
They're just not memorable enough to quickly disappear.
yes, they are.
I remember the.
You don't even remember it. Look at this.
Shut up. Okay, second game is the Claw Gang. And they're pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, those guys were cool.
Yeah. See, he knows. And then in the third one, you just have like all these like disconnected villains, and you're having like single, none of the storylines are connected. You're just having like, we're going here to get this person, we're going here to get this person, we're going here to get this person.
Doesn't the third one have an awkward, sexy spider girl?
No, I think that's the second one.
I'm pretty sure every game has.
So the first game has a sexy crocodile, second game has a sexy spider. I'm gonna stop playing these games.
Yeah, go.
Time to get the collection.
Yeah, exactly. The final act is tiresome because of the freaking sailing. It's terrible. You have this dumb mechanic where you like become a pirate and then you have to steal a pirate ship.
Is it like the same in the Wind Waker?
No, because it's like you just have like a top-down view, and then you, it's not even top-down really. It's like angled. So it's like poor controls of the ship, and then if you come within any proximity of like an enemy ship, which it's really hard to control, so you're going to end up running into a ship at some point. You have to battle them at sea, which then goes, you're controlling Sly instead of the ship, and you have to run around the ship and shoot cannons and steer at the same time. So it's dumb, and I hate it. And I stop playing the game every time. Don't take the mic.
So you don't like it because you suck at it?
Yes.
Okay, moving on.
It's a legitimate reason. Is there anything else? Oh yeah. What I like about it, it's just a story. No, it's not. I don't know why I've said that.
What's the story?
So Sly's trying to get into his family vault. I think that's the only thing I like about it. That's the only thing I like about it, is that like you get to see a bunch of like the Cooper family.
Cooper kids?
The Cooper kids. You get to see like a bunch of his family and like stuff they stole and like artwork of them and everything. And I always liked the Cooper clan. That's why 4 was so disappointing.
And they like team up with villains from the second game. And I'm
Exactly.
excited for that shit. That's the coolest thing to me.
Is that where the Honor Among Thieves name comes from? He teams up with bad guys?
Well, because Sly's technically supposed to be, he's a bad guy because he steals things.
Like one of them's a thief though, like out of all the group, like one's a thief and that's it.
Yeah.
He's a gangster thief though.
The new Bentley is awesome. I love Bentley in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
He goes fast. I like it.
Is that too fast?
Yeah, he's a turtle. He goes fast. It's interesting. It's good. It's a great idea. It carries over a lot of good mechanics from Sly 2, like being able to play as Bentley.
Alright, there you go.
There we go. And for my least favorite video game, this didn't take me more than a fraction of a second to decide. Since playing this game, it's so bad. It's just Sonic and Chica Rings. It is one of the worst pieces of trash ever. I'm sure most people might be 06, but no, hell no. Like 06 is SA1 compared to Secret Rings. Secret Rings is wow. I mean, just look how stupid that is.
Why is he holding a Wiimote? In the official artwork.
I hate this game.
It's so on the nose.
So what I don't like about it, the controls. For me, the biggest thing with any game really is because if it doesn't, it's not fun to play. If it doesn't control right, then obviously you're not going to have fun. You're not going to be able to get out of the game what the developers want you to get from it. And I can't. Just the freaking controls are so bad. It's a game where if anyone hasn't played it, and if you haven't, I envy you. It's a game where they basically the gimmick is Sonic is constantly running. So like you don't have to press forward. He was always running. You hold the remote sideways like a NES controller, and then he's always running. But it's almost hard to explain just how wrong everything about the controlling is in that game. It's just like he's constantly moving forward, and the way you can there's like controls to kind of stop and like go backwards, but the backwards he literally walks backwards, like he puts his head behind his back and just like shuffles backwards. The camera doesn't turn, so if there's like spikes, tough luck, walk into spikes. And there's things like the home attack doesn't work. It's right. The home attack you have to shake it forward. But I'm sure anyone who has, it was an early Wii game and things weren't as precise as they would later become. Half the time it doesn't work. The Sonic and Secret Rings it might be one of the only Sonic games I have never finished because the control is so bad. I could not be bothered to work it out. It's just such a really, really bad game. They implemented this kind of weird RPG leveling up system where you could unlock power-ups and you can equip Sonic with different things there's a thing called the soul gauge where you can like kind of freeze time and go super fast for short bursts. You can like different things, but the fact that you have to level up him to be fast, his starting speed is painful. It's like playing Labyrinth in 3 days, painfully slow.
That's just fundamentally wrong.
You know, it is. It's like making a Mario game where you can't jump. Well, actually, if they made that, it was Luigi's Mansion, that was perfect. But this game does not work whatsoever.
It wasn't a Mario game.
Dinosaur Rings. Again, if anyone hasn't played Sonic and the Secret Ring, that may not mean much to you. There was a specific mission. It's a game where he goes into a storybook to rescue a genie. Yeah, dumb. But basically, in all these Arabian Nights levels, for some reason there's a dinosaur land, and one of the missions is you have to collect dinosaur eggs. And it's on this loop, and if you miss one, you have to just keep going around the loop until you get it, because God forbid you just stop and turn around and go backwards and get it, but apparently that's not how people should play games. It's making me depressed just thinking about it. I despise this game, in case you couldn't already tell.
And that's why you don't like it.
I don't like it. 7 rings in hand. So, Sonic games are kind of, even the games that people don't like, a lot of the time people will praise the music will at least be good. You know, there'll be a few tracks or a song or what have you. The main theme, 7 rings in hand, it's a song I don't mind, but it is, over the course of the game, it is one of the only, you hear that every time you exit a level. The first thing you hear is just the theme blazing at you. Whenever you're going around to select different levels or going to the options, all you hear is just make-believe you're going. Lifts your mind before, and it's just, okay, I get it, Steve Conte, just shut up, okay? What I like about this game, not much. Pretty good music. The soundtrack, it's weird, there's only 14 levels, 14 tracks. It's kind of weird, because a lot of the standard Sonic soundtrack, it's like it sounds like video game music, or really good video game music, but it sounds like video game music. The soundtrack of Secret Rings could almost be like a band studio album. Because all of the level tracks have like essentially songs as their tracks, and it's kind of interesting. I kind of like that. Decent looking Wii game. You know, it's early.
That's not hard.
Early Wii game. You know what? The Sonic games on the Wii tended to look pretty good. I mean, you know, that Black Knight colors, I think, all you know, pretty good. Sand Oasis is okay. You know, the first level, Sand Oasis is okay, I guess. One of the stupidest things about the way the game progresses is that basically, so every level has like multiple missions, but if you unlock certain missions in, like, say, level 1, you will unlock worlds 2 and 3, and the whole premise is you have to go to each of these levels collecting the secret rings, even though everyone knows about it, not really secret. It is technically possible to progress further in the game than the current story has you have. So you can in terms of plot, be in World 2, looking for the secret ring, but I've already gotten the secret rings in Worlds 3 and 4. So when you go back and finish World 2, it's like, come on, Sonic, we gotta go get the next 2 rings. We've already got them. Now what? Let's go to World 5, but you can't. Hate this game. You know what? We're going to have a few questions, but first, just because our friend is here, good man. What was your first video game? What was your least favorite and your favorite video game? Spend a few minutes talking about it.
I think my first game was Super Mario Sunshine.
I was hoping you were going to say Rabbit Rubber Spring.
Can you just say that for us?
Just go away in here and say Rabbit Rubber Spring.
Yeah, I'll just say Super Mario Bros. 3. But I mean, I think my favorite. Well, I know like everybody's played this, and it's just kind of, I guess, cliche, but it's Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. And
What a loser!
But my least favorite video game, I think, was
Skyrim.
I think it's called the Ultimate Spider-Man. Not because like the gameplay, but like the boss battles, because like they're just.
Was that the PS2 one?
I think.
I couldn't finish that because there was one of the, whenever you were playing as Venom, you had those stupid chase missions, and I could never do them because you couldn't web swing. Well, that's not Venom, that's bollocks.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I hated about the game was just the boss battles.
So because you just like the boss battles, it is the worst game of all time.
It's not like the worst game.
I said, what was your least favorite game? Dude? You gotta help us out over here.
That's it.
We have a few.
We're not bringing him back next year.
We have a few minutes. Anyone have any questions or suggestions for what some of your least and most favorite games are?
Legend of Dragoon.
Was that what?
Legend of Dragoon.
Legend of the Dragoon.
Is your least favorite? Yeah, me too.
No, it's great.
My favorite's Jak and Daxter. The whole series is fun.
Yeah.
Well, except for the most recent one, the PSP one. I don't count that as a Jak and Daxter game.
Did you enjoy the edgy to edgy kind of paint gloss you got in Jak 2 when it was all kind of violent and swearing?
Oh, 2 was, it took, okay, this is how bad 2 was for me. It took me until last year to beat 2.
Yeah.
And like, I knew the whole story.
Did you beat 3 first?
Yes.
I did the same thing.
I was like 1, then I got 2, and I was like 13 or something at the time, and I was like, well, this is hard. I don't want to play it. So then, I didn't even know 3 came out, and my mother got it, and I was like, oh, it's good, and I beat it.
I was like at least 17 or so when Jak 2 came out, 17 or 18, and I remember I played 1, I liked 1, better put it 2, and like Daxter's first line is like, I'm about to piss you off. I'm like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on here?
My favorite lines from him is like when they're grabbing this key in the sewers, and he like pulls it out and throws it into the air, and he's like, oh no, Jak catches it, and he goes, where would you be without me, Daxter? He's like, well, probably not a rodent and wearing pants.
Got his pants.
Got him. Yeah, I love that line. Gets me every time.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Anyone else have any favorite games?
Favorite game, Mother 3, because I'm a weeaboo. To this day, only game that's made me cry. In the first hour of that.
I want to find that picture of like that no correlation graph. Like, I don't get how being a weeaboo means you like, I don't get that connection. I mean, I've heard good things about Mother 3, but...
It's like probably the most weeaboo game Nintendo themselves have made.
Oh, okay.
That's why they keep it away from you.
That's why they won't release it over here.
I mean,
We
it
don't
would
want
be,
the virus to spread.
I mean, it would be kind of hard to localize the like muscle men underwater that kiss you to give you more oxygen.
Well, Kirby's been doing that for years. That's how you get hell shit out of Kirby. You make out with each other. Yeah.
That's not weird.
There's nothing weird about a pink marshmallow and a penguin making out.
Yeah. Duh.
Make it outside.
King DDD is a vision of perfection. I happily make out with that man and share some of the cheesesteak he just ate. Yeah.
Think about it.
Jackie boy, what's your favorite game?
Shit, put me on the spot. Kirby 64.
Kirby 64, good game.
Yeah, pretty good game.
Good game. Anyone else? Your favorite or least favorite? What's your least favorite game?
Anything Sonic.
Whoa!
Smart man.
Deadly Premonition.
What's that?
Deadly Premonition.
I played that.
It is an abomination and you're a better person for it.
Hooray!
Literally everyone I've heard of that's played Deadly Premonition either thinks it's the best or the worst game
They
ever
only
made.
like
There
it,
is no in
like they
between.
only like it because it's so outlandish and crazy. The characters are stupid, the dialogue's dumb, the gameplay's crap, and the graphics suck.
Tell us how you really
So it's like this panel. Good to know.
Okay, my least favorite game, personally, Starbound. I followed the development of it since day one. They promised me the world and they gave me nothing.
You know what was like that for me?
No Man's Sky.
No. Brutal Legend. Oh. That was such. Look, okay, yeah, okay. So all these previews and even the demo that came out, it was like it's gonna be a fantasy metal adventure game, and then you get in the game and it's like it's third-person FPS. No.
Is that the one with Jack Black?
Yeah.
Okay, so like the first few levels were absolutely amazing. I love the environment, I love the music, and
Yeah, then the gameplay killed it.
yeah, then we got the RTS levels, and that's just what it was.
Never did get those. I don't know how you can hate anything with Ozzy Osbourne in it, though.
So what was
I
that?
don't know how you can hate anything with Ozzy Osbourne in it, though.
It's, yeah. So any more questions? No? Good.
What was your question?
I was gonna say my least favorite game.
What was that?
You ever see Darksiders 2?
Heard of it, never played it.
Oh my god, I love Darksiders 1 because the idea of the Haunted game series is each game you'll probably play as one of the Lords of Apocalypse. Like Death, War, and the first one was amazing. And the second one came, and the second one was just, oh, it's just like, like the,
Let's put that on the cover. IGN.
you know,
7.8. Too much.
You know the kind of game where it's like, most of the time it's like get 3 things to go on or something?
Yeah.
This game is nothing but 3. It's like, get 3 things to go to the next thing, but want to get the one thing, you have to get 3. So like, you have these 3 ghosts, and you walk up to this one ghost, he goes, I'll come with you, but first, get these other 3 ghosts. And then you get those 3 ghosts to get him, and then the other 2 are nothing. And then like halfway through the game, it was like, finally, it's like, alright, get this 1 staff. And then you found a piece of it, though, this angel goes, and then this like angel goes, oh, it must have broken to 3 pieces. And it just does that the whole rest of the game. And I hated it.
Is it because you had counted?
Yes! Math is just my head.
Was that Count from Sesame Street the final villain in there?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Hit me 3 times!
Can I change my least favorite game to Paper Mario Sacred Star?
No, you can't change it. It's on the test now.
I watched a trailer for Paper Mario Color Splash and I was just like, I guess this is what Paper Mario is now.
It is accepted.
Uh,
Accept it and wait for the sweet release of death, my friend. That is now Paper Mario Sticker Star.
Yeah.
Well, so everyone, thank you so much for coming to our. I hope this was as painless for you all as possible. But again, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your stay here at Tsubasa.